Welcome to GoGi's After Dinner Jam. So glad you can make it into 2024. Yes, Jerusalem. Okay, just so you know, the words of that song, because it was just on my heart, and it's Jerusalem is my home. Save me and walk with me. Do not leave me here. My place is not here. My kingdom is not here. Preserve me. Go with me. Save me, preserve me, guard me, do not leave me here. Jerusalem is my home. And let me see, that's basically all the words. And then they repeat it over in different ways, and I just love the song. So I hope you enjoyed it, a little something different, and I'm happy that you made it in. We made it in past 2023, guys, and we're now in 2024. So welcome. Thank you for using your free will to choose to be here on GoGi's After Dinner Jam. And I'm so glad that you decided to be here. You have so many choices of things to do, and I always emphasize this because our choices, our free will is at stake. Our free will, our ability to have free speech and do as we choose and not be mind controlled is at stake. Is in question in 2024. Wow. So, anyway, as you know, on the first Tuesday of the month, I give the first part of the jam to God. This is First Fruits Tuesday, so I'm happy you made it in, and we're going to give the first fruits to Him. And then we're going to get into the agenda, and I don't have a lot, but I have some very meaty information tonight. So we're going to share that, and then we're going to open up for Q&A towards the end. And, of course, I'll let you announce yourself shortly. So first let's get into the gospel. All right, so welcome to the first jam of 2024. If you've been a jamster for a bit, you know that I promise to give God the first fruits each month for the jam. So today I spread the gospel, which means the good news, which is the foundational recognition of the fact that we have a Savior in Jesus Christ. This means that when we have issues, such as the ones we're dealing with right now here on earth, we have a place of refuge. We have a friend and advocate in the highest place of all, because He sits next to God, and He knows us with all our human flaws and frailties. So it's good to know that we have power through Christ. We have power in His blood and all that He has overcome, because He said while leaving that we can do all the things that He did as He walked the earth, and it's documented, by the way, if only we believed and walked in that. Oh, what a wonderful world this would be. If only we believe that we have that power and we utilize it. So tonight, as I speak to fellow TIs, I want to share a message in season, a message of hope for things to come. It dawns on me that some may be disappointed that we weren't free in 2023. It dawns on me that some's targeting, it's so bad that they're never seeing the end of this. Some people are they're going through and struggling so bad that they don't think it's ever going to end. And it dawned on me that some situations are so desperate that people can't even spell hope, more or less dare to hope. So one of the chapters in the Bible that I go to when I think of times like these is Exodus 14. And we used to read it every day on Minister Jerome's call, and every time we read it, I found something different. And there's a part that sticks out to me right now, but I don't know if that's going to happen when I read it. It might be something different, and I'll tell you what that is. So let's get into it. I'm going to get into this, and then we're going to get on to other things. So in my book, it calls it The Story and Song of Salvation. God spoke to Moses, tell the Israelites to turn around and make camp at Pi Hahiroth, between Migdal and the sea. Camp on the shore of the sea opposite of Baal Zephon. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are lost. They're confused. The wilderness has closed in on them. Then I'll make Pharaoh's heart stubborn again, and he'll close after them, and he'll chase after them. And I'll use Pharaoh and his army to put my glory on display. Then the Egyptians will realize that I am God. All right, so God always wants us to know in different situations that he is God. And he will allow the enemies, the rogue governmental criminals to do what they're doing, but it's only going to put his glory on display. In the end, that's who's going to get the glory. And that's what happened. When the king of Egypt was told that the people were gone, he and his servants changed their minds. They said, what have we done, letting Israel, our slave labor, go free? So he had his chariots harnessed up and got his army together. He took 600 of his best chariots with the rest of the Egyptian chariots and their drivers coming along. God made Pharaoh, king of Egypt, stubborn, determined to chase the Israelites as they walked out on him without even looking back. The Egyptians gave chase and caught up with them where they had made camp by the sea. All Pharaoh's horse-drawn chariots and their riders, all his foot soldiers there at Pi-Hahiroth, opposite Baal-Zephon. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up and saw them, Egyptians coming at them. They were totally afraid. They cried out in terror to God. They told Moses, okay, so although God had taken them, they told Moses, weren't the cemeteries large enough in Egypt so that you had to take us out here in the wilderness to die? What have you done to us? Take us out of Egypt, back to Egypt. Didn't we tell you that this would happen? Didn't we tell you leave us alone here in Egypt? We're better off as slaves in Egypt than as corpses in the wilderness. This is interesting because you'd be surprised that some people whose targeting has gotten worse because of the lawsuit have said, that they'd rather not have the lawsuit. Can you imagine? They'd rather not let us push and towards being free, towards exposing this evil. They'd rather deal with it the way it was than to go through the the ramping up of the program. Well, that's not my decision, but some people have said that. Moses spoke to the people, don't be afraid. Stand and watch God do his work of salvation for you today. Take a good look at the Egyptians today, for you're never going to see them again. Look at the gang stalkers around you today. Look at the perps around you today. Look at this evil program around you today, because you're never going to see them again. God will fight the battle for you. And you keep your mouth shut. Okay, sometimes, we have to be quiet. Sometimes we have to be still. And sometimes we have to let God fight our battles. Let him avenge us, because he can do it so much better than us. There's so many things we would like to do, but we could get in trouble, or it would have the kind of venom that would rise up in us, and then we act it out too, that kind of aggression and acting out on how we feel. That's not what we want to think on. We want to think on things that are lovely and pure. We didn't ask for this stuff either. But God said to Moses, why cry out to me? Speak to the Israelites. Order them to get moving. Hold your staff high and stretch your hand out over the sea. Split the sea. The Israelites will walk through the sea on dry ground. Meanwhile, I'll make sure that the Egyptians keep up their stubborn chase. I'll use Pharaoh and his entire army, his chariots and horsemen, to put my glory on display so that the Egyptians will realize that I am God. Perhaps that's what's happening now, because at a time when we expect them to retreat, they're going stronger. They're continuing. I still believe they're cleaning up their act somewhere, and I see little hints of it. But the ramping up of the program is outrageous. So, but they continue their stubborn chase. Let's see. The angel of God that had been leading the camp of Israel now shifted, I love this word, shifted and got behind them. And the pillar of cloud that had been in front also shifted to the rear. God was positioning things. The things that we see happening, the lawsuits with FICRE, F-I-K-R-E, in case I'm not pronouncing it correctly, versus FBI, which is due, they have their day in court on January 8th. We're waiting for our date in court. There's another case with CARE. They're waiting for their day in court. These things are in place, okay? So things shifted. Let me find my place again. So the cloud was now between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel. The cloud enshrouded one camp in darkness and flooded the other with light. The two camps didn't come near each other all night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and God, with a terrific east wind, see how they did it together? God didn't just come with the wind. Moses had to put his hand up. Sometimes we have stuff to do. He put his hand up, and God brought the east wind. That was to show faith. All night long, make the sea go back. He made the sea dry ground. The sea waters split. The Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground with the waters a wall to the right and to the left. The Egyptians came after them in full pursuit, every horse and chariot and driver of Pharaoh racing into the middle of the sea. It was now the morning watch. God looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud on the Egyptian army and threw them into a panic. I bet some folks are panicking when they get the verdicts of some of these lawsuits. Okay. He clogged the wheels of their chariots. They were stuck in the mud. The Egyptians said, "Run for Israel. Run from Israel." God is fighting on their side and against Egypt. One thing about people back in the day, they understood it was them and God. They didn't have to say, they saw the signs too. They like, God is fighting on their side. We're losing. God is fighting on their side. And they ran. God said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, and the waters will come back over the Egyptians, over their chariots, over their horsemen." God could have done it. He wanted Moses to do it. He's the author and finisher of our faith. When we do certain things and we see the results, it increases our faith. So Moses stretched his hands out over the sea. As the day broke and the Egyptians were running, the sea returned to its place as before. God dumped the Egyptians in the middle of the sea. The waters returned, drowning the chariots and riders of Pharaoh's army that had chased after Israel into the sea. Not one of them survived. Not one. But the Israelites walked right through the middle of the sea on dry ground, the waters forming a wall to the right and to the left. God delivered Israel that day from the oppression of the Egyptians. And Israel looked at the Egyptian dead, washed up on the shore of the sea, and realized the tremendous power that God brought against the Egyptians. The people were in reverent awe before God and trusted in him and his servant Moses. I just love this. Thank you for allowing me to read that. I hope that it did touch you or inspire you, because at the end of the day, when you have people that are in power and they're using that power against others to oppress them and hold them down, and they're keeping the power and they're enjoying, and while we suffer, while others suffer, God is with the oppressed. He is with us. He's with the ones who are being victimized. So he's on our side, and that's a good thing. All right, so we're going to open up, and I'm trying to find my question. And I have a question tonight. Here it is. And so my saying for this year is expect more in 24. Okay, we're going to expect more in 24. But for today, if you can give me the initial of your name with something that rhymes with 24 for your theme for this year, and I'll start so that you'll know what I'm talking about because I know I'm not saying it right. I apologize. All right, so Gaji, and my so that would be a G, and so my saying is I'm going to have love galore in 24. All right, and I'm going to open up. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and what you're going to have in 24. That's initial of your name that rhymes with 4. All right, welcome to the jam. Oh, boy, said them out. Good evening. Welcome to GoGi's After Dinner Jam. So glad you could make it in. So glad you could press past your pain to prepare, produce, and progress. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and what's your initial in 2024.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Oh, fine. You've done, guys. This is Cassandra in Pittsburgh. I can think of it as not cure. Hey, cure in 24.
All right. You're going to have chores in 24. All right. Cassandra, thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing past your pain. I appreciate your presence here on the jam. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you for being so kind to me always.
Bless you. Thank you. Welcome to the jam, everybody. Please announce yourself. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
We are praying more in 24.
I heard somebody. Can you repeat it, please?
Praying more in 24.
K and more in 24.
Praying, P-R-A-Y.
For all right. Thank you. Welcome to the jam.
Thank you.
Hello?
Glad you could be here. Hi, how are you?
Fine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, okay. This is, so are we?
The initial that, you can say your name and city and state you're from.
Oh, okay. From Aldi, Virginia, and I will continue to roar in 24.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. What was that?
I said Dawn from Aldi, Virginia, and I will continue in 24.
All right. You're going to do what more in 24?
Continue to roar in 24.
All right. Thank you.
Roar in 24.
Thank you. You're going to continue to roar in 24.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the jam. Thank you for being here.
Hey, this is Sherry from North Carolina.
Hi, Sherry. Sherry, hold 1 second, because I hear a gentleman that needs to mute unless he wants to talk. Go ahead, Sherry.
Making my perps pour in 24.
Oh, boy. Okay, Sherry. You went there? Okay, Sherry.
Well, I mean, that means that means we win the lawsuit, right?
All right. Well, I'm with winning the lawsuit, that's for sure. Thank you for joining the jam. Thank you for being here. All right?
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and what about 24?
Kenya from Australia, 2024. I'm going to pray that this ends. I'm praying for every TI in the world, and the perps can go and, themselves.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Australia. Thank you for joining the call.
Hello. This is Tanisha calling from Petersburg, Virginia.
Hi,
and
Tanisha.
Hi. Just keeping it moving in 24. I'm not the most creative person, so I'm sorry I couldn't come up with anything to rhyme.
Well, that's fine. That's keeping it moving. I love it. Thank you so much, Tanisha. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the Jam.
Thank you.
We'll take whatever you get, whatever you can
this
give,
is
guys.
Chris from Idaho.
Hi, Chris from Idaho.
Yeah, I'm going to say freedom galore in 24.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for being on the Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your contribution. All right. Welcome to the Jam, everybody. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and what about 24?
Hi, Dodgy.
Hi.
Hey, this is Tori in New Jersey, and I just want to say that I love your call. It's more activism and support others more and more in 2024.
Thank you. I know you gave a compliment. I didn't hear what you said. My phone blacked out, but I know it was a compliment, Tori, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being on the Jam.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
All right.
This is Major P.
Hi, Major P.
Indianapolis. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What I'm going to do in 2024, P is for more protection for my TIs in 2024.
All right. Thank you, Major Pat, and thank you for all you do working with our groups and our initiatives. Thank you for boots on the ground. All right. More protection for TIs in 2024. Boy, do we need it. All right. To the Jam, everybody.
Amen. Minister Jerome here. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, sir. And then, ma'am, I hear somebody else in the background. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Minister Jerome. Favor galore in 2024. Amen.
Thank you. All right, Minister Jerome. Favor.
Amen.
Amen. I heard a voice, a female voice right behind him. Ma'am?
Yes, Tanya in Arkansas.
I'm sorry?
Can you hear me? Tanya in
Yes.
Arkansas. 10 score in 24.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said 10 score in 24.
10 score in 24. That's a perfect score?
Yes.
All right. Thank you and welcome to Amen.
Hi, Gaji.
Hi.
Hi, it's Deborah from New Jersey.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Gaji. Thank you for hosting as always. I look forward to Tuesday nights.
Thank you so much for being here.
So I'm going to be walking through those courtroom doors in 24 and collecting some liberation, some money, and a lot more.
Thank you. Absolutely, Deborah. I'm with you. I'm going to walk right with you and collect too. Amen. I believe it. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Deborah. I hear somebody. Welcome to the Jam. It's just my imagination. Okay. Welcome to GoGi's After Dinner Jam. So glad you could make it in. Please announce the city. All right. We're coming down to the end.
Hello.
Hi.
Regina.
Hi, Regina.
How you doing?
Happy 2024.
Mine.
I'm okay.
Same to you. Happy New Year to you, girl. But
Happy
me,
New Year.
I'm going to try to work on a lawyer so I can get a law firm. That's what I want to do.
All right.
I need a lawyer. That's my goal.
All right, Regina. You're going to be lawyered up in 2024. Right on.
Amen. All of us.
I believe you will. All of us. Amen. Amen.
Right.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, we'll take one or two more, and then we're going to get right into our work. Okay. So we're going to close up for current events. We have a few things happening, so I'll share about them. Thank you for being here. Welcome to GoGi's After Dinner Jam. So glad you could make it here, and I know you had to press through to get here, so I appreciate everything that you had to go through in order to be here, that you made it. All right, let's close it off now. Thank you. All right. So it's been a pretty slow week. You know, there was a lot of things happening at the end of the year to the point where I really wasn't going to have a jam on the 26th because it was the day after Christmas. I figured everybody would be full, laying around, relaxing with their family. That Elizabeth Warren and a group of senators wrote to the intelligence agencies challenging them about the watch list. So I thought it was very important that we get together and make sure that we send emails and faxes, and that, you know, they say strike when the iron is hot. The iron is hot, hot, hot. It still is. So I wanted us to strike, and we need to talk about that. I hope people we asked you to do 3 things. One being an email or a fax, and the other is to post at least 2 places on social media. I gave you a sample post on tievents.org, and we also took the sample letter from the newsletter in Targeted Justice, and that was available to you on tievents.org to send to the 13 people who signed the letter. So we're going to slow down and review that a little more carefully. But since the news, you know, it has been pretty slow this week. I mean, I saw some wild celebrity stuff. Thank you, Major Pat, for keeping me up. I mean, I heard some wild celebrity stuff going on, which, by the way, we're going to have I'm going to have some special editions this year. One of them will be about celebrities, and one will be about gang stalking, and another about AI. I'm not sure what else, but we're working on a few things, and I'll talk about that next week. So I'm just collecting information right now, and we're going to have some good fun. So we're going to do that on video. All right. So anyway, I'm talking about the article, the video and article that came out from CBS. And remember, we were waiting for, number one, for this to become a bipartisan issue so that we know that it's, you know, about humanity overall. It was not just a Republican issue, not just looking out for Trump, looking out for the J6ers, but it was looking out for everybody, human beings. And so now the Democrats jumped on board. I'm not sure if it was because they found out there was an 8-week-old baby that was being followed around by the air marshals, and that the air marshals were following around everybody who went to D.C. on January 6th, whether they went to the Capitol or not. So they were following around the J6ers and flying in to see family, meet a girlfriend or boyfriend, or for an interview, or go to a college. Anything on January 6th that you went into D.C. for, you now became a target. You an item for the air marshals to follow around. And the eight-week-old baby, or monitor that 8-week-old baby, who wasn't even thought of on January 6th, but because her parents they were following the parents, or the parent went there or something. So they were, as outlandish as it is, this is why these 13 picked up the horn and began to push the issue about the watch list. And so we want to look at that closely. I'm going to look at the letter. I want to talk about who signed it. And they asked them 34 questions. So we want to review those questions, because what we really, at the end of the day, our real issue is, are they going to talk about the targeted individual program, which has the TIs in the terrorist screening database, which is a secret component of the watch list. It's actually the secret blacklist, I'm told by our attorney. It's called the secret blacklist, and it deals with handling codes 3 and 4. That's where we are. Will they touch this? We want to make sure that they investigate this. Imagine them talking about the watch list and never. That's, it could happen, and we want to make sure it doesn't. And I'm just urging everyone, every single targeted individual, please do at least those 3 things. 1, either email or fax the senators. And 2, you put them all on one line, just blind copy them, very courteous and letter, but that they know that that you're here and that you need help. And also to put some social media posts up. I gave you the post, and you can customize it. Well, in Twitter, you won't be able to. I think you have 260 characters or something like that. And I tried to keep it concise, so you can just take it and just copy and paste. So we want to give you everything you need. We put it in the TI, the toolkit on tievents.org. There's a toolkit, so everything will be in the toolkit. You just pick it up and use it. So that's the second part. The first part, there's a video. All right, so this I know many of you probably heard of William Binney. And William Binney was one of the big whistleblowers a while back, a couple of years ago, I think 2021. But what he's saying still stands today and is so relevant to what we're going through. So I thought that since we don't have so many videos, guys, you can get a little bit of ice cream, or I don't want to say coffee this late at night, but tea or whatever you would like to drink, and just sit back and let's devour this for a minute, and then let's dive into the letter. Then I'm going to open up and we're going to talk about what we're doing. I'll talk about some of the initiatives that are going on right now, and I'll bring you up to date with the clergy and the PETA initiatives. But this is our prime focus, and I need everybody, all boots on the ground, so to speak, because if it's for us, it's for you. You're doing it for yourself, and we already talked. You can't sit back and beg for mercy and hope that they pass you over. Whatever they can do to you, they're going to do. So let's dive into the video. And the video again is William Binney being interviewed by an interviewer. I don't remember the guy's name. I'm so sorry, but it's an interview with William Binney. He's from NASA, and he is NSA, and he is a whistleblower. So listen carefully. It's going to speak to your story.
Listen, it's shocking. It's written about in the book of Revelation. Could it ever happen? The answer is, unfortunately, yes. Total population control. Bill Binney says that's what the National Security Agency wants. He should know. He was technical director of that agency and worked there for more than 30 years. He became one of their top analysts, perhaps the best code breaker in America, before he resigns because of their domestic spying programs. He's with us now from Washington. Bill, thank you so much for being with us. We're glad to see you.
Well, thanks for having me, Pat.
Look, how big is this apparatus of the NSA? We hear about it, but you know firsthand.
Well, I think there are about 40,000 people working at Fort Meade at NSA headquarters, close to 40,000. And then they have facilities all around the world, plus a number of contractors also associated, probably on the order of 100,000, I would think, to 200,000 that work for them directly. So it's a rather large operation. I mean, it's between 10 and 15 billion dollars a year that they spend on it ever since 9/11. So that's quite a bit of money they're investing in it.
How much data can they acquire? Is there any limit to it?
Actually, the only limit is in terms of money, power, availability, and space to stack equipment to go and collect the material.
Well, now you've said that the ultimate goal is total population control. In a democracy, that is really scary business.
It's actually a totalitarian process that's been used down through history. I mean, that's what totalitarian dictators, states, that's what they want to do. They want to know everything about the population so they can control it. That was the idea behind the Soviet Union, the East German Stasi. That was their idea, and the Gestapo and the SS, and down through history, many others.
Is our stuff more powerful than those agencies you mentioned?
Yeah, unfortunately it is. That's the real problem I see, is that the capacity is, when you're looking at electronic activity of individuals, like when you use a credit card, or when you make a phone call or email anybody on the internet, or do chatter on the internet, that can be monitored in near real time if they're necessary. Otherwise, they can capture it, collect it, store it, and then retroactively analyze it. So it's something that it provides the opportunity to monitor everybody in the country, in fact, most everybody in the world, in near real time throughout the day. And that's really a 1984 on steroids, really.
All right, now let's take Mrs. Joe Average living in Topeka, Kansas, and she goes to the store and buys something with a credit card. NSA's got that right then?
They have electronic data. They'll collect financial transactions. Sure.
She calls her friend Myrtle down the street. That phone is monitored, that call?
Not all of them, but a good many of them are recorded. Certainly all of the fact that she made that call is recorded and stored, and what we call graft, that is building relationships. That's one of the real problems here. This is a violation of your First Amendment rights. Under the Constitution, you have the right to assemble, free assembly, which means that it doesn't say you have the right to free assembly as long as the government knows about it, which is what's happening when the telecommunications companies turn over all their records of phone calls to and from with duration. That tells them everybody you're contacting, your whole social network on the phone, because it's a simple matter of doing a reverse lookup to see who that is that you're calling.
Oh, you quit the agency because you said what they were doing is unconstitutional. That is clearly unconstitutional, but why does the government keep on doing it?
That's the reason I've been able to, at least from what I can see in the public domain, is they're doing it for law enforcement worldwide. And actually the main users of this data are in fact the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Administration and other law enforcement agencies in the country. And they use this data to find criminal activity, and then they go arrest people based on this information. And then they have to do a parallel construction, which means they use normal policing techniques that they would be expected to use to find evidence that would justify and show probable cause for an arrest. Then they substitute that for the NSA data in the courts. In fact, that's one of the things that happened in challenging that process. Was one of the lawsuits was Amnesty International versus Clapper, and that made it to the Supreme Court. And the only way they got rid of that was to basically lie to the Supreme Court and say that, well, if anybody had any of this data used against them in the court of law or anything, that the defendants would be told. And that was simply a lie. Nobody has been told to date.
All right. When I think of this, it's just horrible. But do they give this information to the IRS?
That's the other problem. The Drug Enforcement Administration has a special unit, the Special Operations Division, the SOD, and that division is supposed to, its primary purpose is to look into the NSA data to find criminality and criminal activity. The members of that are the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, of course DEA, DHS, and the IRS. Now that means that the IRS has actually has access to all the data of the social networks of everybody in the country, because NSA builds those in the databases that they have from the billing data or the contact data that's provided by the telecommunications companies. So this in effect allows them, if they're interested in stopping anybody getting a 501c3 application in for tax exempt status for say someone in the Tea Party or the Occupy group or any religious group attempting to get 501c3 or tax exempt status, they could look into that mapped graphed relationships and see if you're a part of any organization that they perhaps want to stonewall or slow roll and prevent from becoming politically active. And that's what's been going on. They've had access to this data. And one person was testifying in the House and Judiciary Committee, I believe it was, about some of the questions they were being asked by the IRS. And one of the questions that was asked that gave me the idea that they were using this information was this one person was asked, what is their relationship with another person? It was a specific name. Well, the question I had was not what was their relationship, but how did the IRS know about that relationship? The only way I could think of that they would know was be through this access to the data at NSA, which is where all that information is mapped out.
So what you're saying is the NSA slips this stuff to them, they read it, get a clue, and then they go through their normal procedures and act like they didn't get the information, they got it from another source, so they pull the wool over Congress. You know, the congressman... Yes, go ahead.
And they also use that in court, which means, in my sense, that means they're perjuring themselves in court. So I call that a planned program perjury policy run by the Department of Justice of the United States.
You know, I'm horrified at all this, and I'm sure the average of America, you know, most of the congressmen they come out of neighborhoods and they're elected by the people. Do you think Congress has even a clue as to what you're talking about?
Probably not a complete clue, but I think that's part of the reason that Representatives Amos and Conyers got a coalition of members of the House to try to unfund NSA's activity last year. They almost made it by about 12 votes. They lost by 12 votes, but they came pretty close for a first try. So there is a move in Congress to limit and stop this, and it really is all of this activity. It's unconstitutional under the First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendments. The first, because they're giving your associations and everything. The government is collecting that data. The fourth, because they're looking at the content. It's not just metadata that they're collecting; it's content also. And the fifth, because they're using data that the content of data that you pass between your friends and neighbors, and use that against you in a court of law. That's a violation of the Fifth Amendment. That is to have you can claim the Fifth Amendment not to testify against yourself. Well, that's a violation of that too.
How come some little guy didn't come after you in the middle of the night, or have they?
They have, actually. They sent the FBI at me in 2007 and tried to intimidate me to stay quiet.
What about Snowden? Is he a traitor or a hero?
I looked at him as doing an absolute public service, not just to the people of this country, but to the world, because he produced evidence that's irrefutable by our government. That's the crimes against the Constitution and the laws that we had over time anyway. So that was irrefutable evidence of what they were doing, and so they cannot deny it now.
What kind of megalomaniac would want to do something like this? Is monstrous, and these guys, I mean, where does the mindset come from that devises all this stuff?
Well, that's what I objected to and why I left NSA early on back in 2001, because I saw this coming. I mean, I had worked the Soviet Union problem for almost 30 years, and it was very clear to me that in October of 2001, the NSA and the government, the U.S. government, started adopting the procedures and techniques and processes that the Soviet Union and the Stasi and all of the countries behind the Iron Curtain were using. So we were actually adopting their procedures. It was very clear to me that that was what was going on.
All right, last question. The average person doesn't have a vestige of knowledge of what you're talking about. They just trust their government. What are we going to do as citizens?
Well, you see, let me say something about that first. That's really the problem here in this country. You see, from what I see is we have not had a dictator in this country for almost since George III, for almost 240 years. So we've been very comfortable over those 240 years, at least, kind of depending on our government to do the right thing. And that's what we've all been accustomed to them doing. That is, we trust them and have trusted them for a long time. And so we don't have that knowledge of what dictators and dictatorial processes are. But if you look at it, the Germans today are the ones who are really upset about this. And the reason they're upset is because they've got living memory of the Stasi and living memory of the SS and Gestapo. So they're very familiar with these techniques and procedures, and that's why they're very upset. To me, I think the only way we can get out of this is to fire everybody in D.C. I think that's the only way to do it. You have to go out and vote. You have to get active. You can't stay quiet and let this happen. You have to stand up and oppose it.
Bill Binney, thank you so much. You're a great patriot, and keep speaking out. And we'll ask prayer for your protection, because I can't imagine they're going to let you keep on talking, but maybe they will. Well, folks, if you want to learn more about Bill Binney and the NSA, you can go to our website. There's more detail about it. And you know something, as he was talking, the Bible makes a statement in the book of Revelation that people could not buy or sell without the mark of the beast. And you said, okay, there is no way that there's any governmental agency that could enforce something like that. And what this man, who is the technical director, the NSA former technical director, is saying is that the government now has the technique to do this worldwide. You know, Google has maps of if you have a little shack up in the hills someplace, Google's got a map of how to get there. And that's a private agency. And, you know, your credit cards, your telephone calls. But the thing is, what he's saying is that you pick up the phone and call your girlfriend, and that's monitored and that's recorded. And it's frightening. You don't have to be saying, you know, I want to plot against the government. It's a normal conversation, and they call it metadata and all that stuff. And we don't understand it enough, so we say, well, oh yeah, well, we don't have terrorists, we don't have blowing up our airplanes. Well, of course we don't. But is it the price of safety for a few passengers on an occasional airplane? Is that worth taking away the liberties of all the people? And the answer is no. But this is Big Brother. It is what is written in the book of Revelation, and it finally can happen in our lifetime. This is scary stuff.
Shocking, really.
Isn't it?
Shocking. I remember reading 1984 and books like The Late Great Planet Earth and thinking that could never happen in our country. People would never buy into that, and here we sit.
Well, it's like the old business of the frog in the water. You heat it up slowly, and we're more and more accustomed to it. And every time it comes out and they say, oh, well, it's okay, it's a USA Patriot Act, it was put in by George Bush, these are good guys. And you got a nice general up there, he's a 3-star general, he's got a benign looking face, and you figure he's not going to hurt you, and so he's in charge, and then somebody else.
Well, we also grew up being taught and believing that the check and balance system in our government was going to take care of all of this.
This is huge. The gathering is in the billions and billions and billions of bits, and we finally have the capacity to control every human being on the face of the earth. Oh. Clean them up, that's what he said. Throw the bombs out and let's start afresh.
All right. So it really is very telling. All right, so Binney really revealed quite a bit of information, and a lot of it, he by what he's saying, it's done to everybody. Of course, our focus is the targeted individuals, so it's more so with us. It's more concentrated, and in addition to the monitoring and the hacking and the surveillance, the illegal surveillance, is the program in terms of the DO and the V2K and so forth. So it's very interesting. Two things I wanted to look at. He mentioned three, actually. One, that Congress, he asked him, does Congress know? And he says, not a complete clue. So they don't fully know. They don't know. They get bits and pieces. And in discussions that I've been around, like there's certain clearance levels, and they don't have the clearance level to be privy to certain information. So they know and they suspect things, and I'm sure they hear people call and say, this is happening to me. And they don't think we're all crazy if they're getting messages from all over their district or their region. They know that something is up, So, but, if you think about it, before when we were in La La Land, would we believe this stuff? Would we believe the things that we are now saying and experiencing? So Congress, and then he said, what should every citizen do? And, well, he said fire everyone in D.C., so use your voting power and stand up. So that, that really becomes the message, to stand up. You can't be afraid. You can't, buckle down or bow down. You have to stand up. And he also asked, why in the world would the government do this? And there were crickets for a minute. But he said for the law enforcement agency. So they used this and this for criminal activities to bring people to court. So they illegally gather information and then find something out there that's within the legal realm and use that. They substitute the evidence. And they, and then he showed the cover up and so forth. And the telecommunications companies work with them to provide phone records, and that's what helps for them to surveil us. So that's why Section 702, that ending on the 31st, was so important. And we know, and I believe it's because they did not they did not modify it. They had a choice. It was either renew or not. So they were able, the FBI and the agents and the powers that be were able to present enough of a doubt. Are you sure you want to not renew this? And then we have nothing for national security. We won't be able to do this. We won't be able to do that. And therefore, if something happens, then we'll be stuck out there. So they created enough of a doubt that the Defense Policy Act or bill was passed, which included the extension for FISA Section 702 until April 19th. However, there's another movement, and I don't know where it is. We talked about this before, the Protect Liberty Act. It's PLEWSA, I believe, and it was voted on, bipartisan vote, 35-2, that to protect the American citizens, saying that although no matter what with this FISA Section 702, if it's an American citizen on American soil, you have to get a warrant. There's no warrantless surveillance. So it passed at one level, and I'm looking again to see if it was followed up on or if they're still pushing it forward, because that would help to modify that Section 702 even until the 19th of April. So that's what we're going to pay attention to, because that definitely affects us. Imagine having privacy again with your emails, with your phones, with your devices, with your Bluetooth. Everybody wants to live smart, these smart lives, and you're not alone. So we're going to continue to follow that. So if you have any questions about that, hold them, because I'm going to get right into the letter, and then I'll take questions and answers about both. And then if we have time, we're going to read the next plaintiff from the lawsuit filed on January 11th by Anna Attorney Anna Toledo. Okay. So let me look at this. I want to look at the letter. As you know, because of all the attention given to the watch list, one second, this letter was written and there was a call to action. Let me just get it. I have it now. Thank you, J.A.M. Okay. So the letter is sent to Merrick Garland, that's the Attorney General, sent to Mayorkas Security, Christopher Wray, FBI, Weinstein, that's Homeland Security, all the big agencies, Troy Miller, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, David, right, Pink, Pelonki maybe? No, Pekinky. All right, Pekenke, and that's TSA, which I remember they said they have the final call on who flies and not. Avril Haines, Director of National Intelligence, and the last one, Christine Abizade, and that is from what is this? Jesus Christ. Counterterrorism Center, I'm sorry. All right, National Counterterrorism Center. All right, so the letter, I'm not going to read the entire letter. They get into, I'm going to read the beginning, though, because we want to know what they're asking, right? So we write, it's a little blurry for me, we write to request information about the status of and standards for the terrorist screening data set, they're calling it, or terrorist watch list. I'm going to read the reference there because our attorney, the Attorney for Targeted Justice, makes it clear that it's a database, and using data set makes it one moment in time when we know a database is fluid, and we definitely want to know, we want to see the fluidity of the database. Okay. TSDS, or the terrorist watch list. The redress process for seeking removal from the data set and any steps your agencies are taking to address anti-Muslim discrimination stemming from the watch list system. We have ongoing concerns about the reliability of the list and the extent to which due process and civil rights principles are adhered to in the course of placing and retaining individuals on the list. Well. Okay, so this is our issue. So the fact that it's being presented, the fact that they're calling people on the carpet, all the ones that we named, and they have to respond by January 9th is about the best thing that happened in 2023, and that it was covered on national TV in prime time. It was covered by CBS, and I'm sure others are talking about it. Now, let's look at the definition. They have a little footnote here. The terrorist screening data set was previously called the Terrorist Screening Database, TSDB. See Department of Homeland Security, Privacy Impact Assessment for the, oh God, I can't read this, Passenger Threat. I can't read this, but it was April 11th of 2021, I believe. So for some reason, they're trying to change the name, and there is a reference to that. Okay, so I'll look into that. I'm going to look into that. All right, so then they get into the background on the terrorist watch list. So they talk about it, and every time somebody talks about it, they go back to 9/11. So I'll read the beginning of that. I'm not going to read it all, but it says, in response to 9/11, the terrorist watch list was created in September of 2003. Its aim was to consolidate 1 dozen disparate agency watch lists into a centralized list for tracking known and suspected terrorists. The watch list is managed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation Threat Screening Center. So it's managed by FBI's TSC, their Threat Screening Center, previously called the Terrorist Screening Center. So now they're changing names. Coordinates with the TSA, Transportation Security Administration, to also maintain subsidiary lists, including the no-fly list for travelers prohibited from flying and the selectee list for those subject to enhanced screening before boarding. The watch list also contributes to other screening lists used by TSA and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, at airports and borders. By the way, when you're traveling, please make sure you note if you get any additional screening. For example, for me, I have several times paid for global entry, paid for TSA pre-check, which I used to have just automatically. I cannot get it. They just refuse. So, yeah. All right. So, but that's just something to note because it will come up when you get your day in court. All right. Okay, that's the background, and it continues. After the background, they discuss concerns about the reliability of the terrorist watch list. And, okay, so they discuss the accuracy and that there's no form of redress, fairness, and constitutional concerns about the terrorist watch list. Okay. And there's a lot of references. So let's look at the questions that they ask. Let me wait one second. If this is near the end before the questions, I'll read this part. Okay, no. Okay, I'm going to read this one paragraph, and then we'll get into the questions. All right, so it says, alongside doubts about its reliability, the watch list has triggered a range of constitutional concerns. These problems have cast doubt on the system's compliance with Homeland Security Presidential Directive 6, that's HSPD number 6, which required that the watch list be implemented in a Marina. I can't. This is so blurry. I think Marina. I'm not sure what that word is. Manner consistent with the provisionary. Oh my goodness! If you saw how blurry this is, of the Constitution and applicable laws, including those protecting the rights of all Americans. Okay, so they're getting to the bottom of the fact that the list violates constitutional rights. Now, the case in court that's coming up January 8th really looks like it's gonna be ruled in their favor, which will greatly and could greatly impact us. All right, now the questions. All right. So what are they asking? That's what we want to know. And there are 34 of them. 1, for each of the last 5 years, how many individuals have been on the TSDS or the watch list? How many U.S. persons, including citizens and permanent residents, are on the watch list? So they're only going to go back 5 years. But those 5 years it depends on what they consider the watch list. So let's see how they break it down. How many individuals residing in the United States, not as U.S. citizens or permanent residents, are on the watch list? For each of the last 5 years, how many individuals have been on the no-fly list? How many U.S. persons are on the no-fly list? So that really won't pertain to us. 3, for each of the last 5 years, how many individuals have been on the selectee list? How many U.S. persons are on the selectee list? For each of the last 5 years, how many individuals have been on the expanded selectee list? How many U.S. persons have been on the expanded selectee list? For each of the last 5 years, what has been the median time between a trip submission and receipt of a request of a response for a U.S. person on the watch list, a non-U.S. person on the watch list, a U.S. person on the no-fly list, a non-U.S. person on the no-fly list. 6, for each of the last 5 years, what has been the median time for a U.S. person on the no-fly list to receive confirmation of placement on the no-fly list, and so forth. I'm not going to read the ones that don't pertain to us, the no-fly. For each of the last 5 calendar years, how many trip complaints were referred to the TSC for review? For each year, please indicate the number and percentage of complaints that, and they specify exactly what. Number 8, for each of the past 5 years, what percentage of administrative appeals or of denials of U.S. I don't know what word that is. I can't see this. Trip complaints have resulted in removal from the TSDS or no-fly list. Okay? So most of this so far really deals with handling codes 1 and 2 with the no-fly list, and it really doesn't deal with us. So as happy as we are about them dealing with the watch list, it really shows why we must write them to let them know that we are handling codes 3 and 4. Yes, we can fly, but we are everyday moms and dads. We're on the list and we're being tortured. They're experimenting on us, and things are happening to us because we're in the terrorist screening database. So, all right. Let me see what other questions. Number 9, for complainants who were removed from the list, what percentage of those were nevertheless flagged for matching a risk-based rule? Number 10, what share of requests to be added to TSDS originate from each of the following? Okay. This is a good one. Democratic law enforcement activities, A. B, the U.S. intelligence community, and C, foreign governments. So they're looking at who's sending in the nominations, who's asking to request someone to be added. The domestic law enforcement activities, U.S. intelligence community, or foreign government. Okay. And then, so they have it categorized. So these next questions are about the processes. 11, can individuals in the TSDS whose trip complaints are denied administratively appeal that denial? Can individuals on a no-fly list administratively appeal? Number 12, I'm skipping some of the subsets of the questions. When an individual is issued a redress center control number, is the individual permanently removed from the watch list or no-fly list? 13, does the government blank the past watch list status of an individual who has been removed from the TSDS for any purpose? I think that's just the government C. Can the government see? All right. 14, are there any ways for individuals to challenge their suspected placement on the watch list other than DHS's TRIP process or filing suit? 15, what non-governmental entities receive or are eligible to receive copies of information from the watch list, from that watch list? That is a beautiful question. Copies of or information from the watch list. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What role do private contractors play in vetting or intelligence analysis processes involved in placing an individual in the TSDS or on the no-fly list? Beautiful. Private contractors putting people on the list? Really? How many contractors work on any watch list related setting or intelligence processes? What percentage of full-time employee FTE time does their work represent? They're getting into the private contractors, which we know that the FBI hires private contractors to do some of the work that they can't do because they're not allowed to do on American citizens, like InfoGuard and so forth. Okay, what metrics does your department or agency use in artificial intelligence or I don't see this word, predictive technology to, blank, analyze, or execute the addition or removal of names to and from the watch list or no-fly list? Okay. Please describe the technologies, the circumstances, and details of their use and any oversight and accountability mechanisms in grants. Who develops your department's or agency's artificial intelligence or predictive tools for recommending or executing the addition or removal of names to or from the TSDS or no-fly list? Purchase data from data brokers or third-party companies for use in artificial intelligence or predictive tools for recommending or executing the addition or removal of names to or from the TSDS or no-fly list. And if so, and they have a whole bunch of questions under that. Well, I think they're getting somewhere. Okay. Okay, we're halfway there. We're more than halfway there. All right. I'm jumping down to 19. Which foreign governments are the TSDB or no-fly list shared with? Which foreign governments are permitted to refer names for addition to the TSDB or no-fly list? I wonder how this is. It sounds impactful. I'm not sure exactly how. Okay. 21. What factors go into the determination of which foreign governments are allowed to access or add to the TSDS or no-fly list? Wow. Imagine a foreign government adding a U.S. citizen to the TSDB or no-fly list. Does your department or agency acquire any information you watch listing nominations from state, local, tribal, territorial, or private sector sources? And they want to know what percentage nominations from different places. All right, 23. Has the TSC ever completed a comprehensive audit review of all watch list entries? If so, what year? Okay, and then they have other questions about the audit. Number 24, beyond the spouses and children of individuals on the watch list, what other categories of non-terrorists may be included as exceptions to the reasonable suspicion standard for placement on the watch list? And this is one of the ones I thought might refer to us. I'm going to read it again. Beyond the spouses and children of individuals on the watch list, what other categories of non-terrorists may be included as exceptions to the reasonable suspicion standard for placement on the watch list? And I believe this should start opening doors for us. So maybe when we write, we should refer to question number 24. Refer to question number 24, because the answer would be us. Like, we are considered non-investigative terrorists. We're not suspected. We're not known suspected terrorists. But this is talking about non-suspected, non-terrorists. How do you place non-terrorists on the list? They're asking about that. So question number 24. 25, what steps does your department or agency take to proactively notify individuals of their right to seek redress? Oh, I love this question. If they get to us, they take nothing, because nobody. I would love to know the person that's been notified, and that there's a way for you to get off the list. That's why we're here. So 24 and 25. Okay. 26. What steps in your department or agency is your department or agency taking to address reports of anti-Muslim discrimination at airports, land borders, and in the watch listing system? Muslims have complained furiously since 9/11. And there's a case in court coming, the one that's coming behind us, and they look like they're getting ready to win. And I think somebody just had a win recently. So they're really looking at the how system. What safeguards, number 27, if any, are in place to prevent racial or religious profiling in the process of nominating and placing an individual in the TSDB? Oh, I'd love to hear the response to that. Does your department or agency provide any sort of incentive? Okay, now this makes me think they already know. Who make a nomination to the TSDS, or who make a match to the TSDB? Who make a match to the TSDS? Wow, that's deep. That's big. That's going to be a good one. Okay, 29. This is government analysis and guidelines. 29. What is the government's rationale for not proactively notifying the U.S. persons on the no-fly list of their status on the list? Wow, that's ridiculous. Number 30. What is the government's rationale for not providing individuals on the selectee list with confirmation of their placement or removal from the list, description of the reasons for their placement on the list, an opportunity to provide rebuttal information to a neutral arbiter? Oh, boy. Okay. All right. Last 4 questions. 31. What is the government's rationale for not providing the Council of U.S. persons on the no-fly list with the access to the classified information allegedly supporting their client's placement on the list when the Council has a security clearance? Okay. Okay, so this is coming up because with Assange, how they dealt with the Council. Okay, they violated everything, and they know they're going to lose that. 32. Please provide any Office of Legal Counsel memoranda or other Department of Justice analysis that assess the legality of the watch list systems either regarding the TSDS or any subsidiaries list. 33, please provide any DHS and or CBP Office of Chief Counsel memorandum that, and they give a list of what they want, access to the legality of searches of electronic devices at the border for individuals on the watch list present, guidance for screening non-U.S. persons in the TSDB at airports and land borders. Number 34, when was the most recent interagency watch list guidance issued? Please share a copy of that guidance. What further implementing guidance has your department or agency issued? Please share a copy of any such guidance. We appreciate your attention to these important. Signed by 13. I thought I counted 13. 13 senators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 13 senators. And so these are the ones which we are pulling the fax and email addresses for, the Twitter handles, so that we can write to them and make sure that, and we can refer to questions 24 and 25, they know that there is a secret part to this watch list. We need your help. So we want to be very careful with our communications with them. We definitely don't want to. I think we had Attorney Anna Toledo last week who really shared some specifics, and we posted them in the post-jam notes about what to say and what not to say. This is not a time for us to go into, all the deepest things. Let's start with the surface. Let's start with just the facts that we are in the TSDB. We call it the Terrorist Screening Database. They're calling it the TSDS, the Terrorist Screening Data Set. But we're on the list, and we're being tortured, and we're being treated differently, and we are everyday citizens. We have not had any due process. So what's important to them, as based on this memorandum, is, number one, we haven't been notified that we are on the list. Number two, that we have no redress, no course of action, no form to fill out, nobody to call to say we need to get off. And those are the key things that we want to get across to them. Nobody told us we're on a list. We know we are experiencing the impact of being on the list, and we have no course of action to get off the list. And so, that's where we are. So we're going to open up for comments, questions, and my question to you would be, what can we do? That's what the interviewer asked William Binney. And he was saying, stand up, fire everybody in D.C. and so on and so forth. But I've made a recommendation to do 3 things. 1, email, fax your senator, every senator that signed this letter. And 2, post everywhere, post at least 2 places in social media. The post that I submitted, I'll read it. And if you think of anything else, then please, I'm all ears. But let me read the other post. Let's find that real quick. And it is on tievents.org again. 1 second. Okay. So it says, please share and post. In addition to the watch list, there are over 400,000 innocent American citizens in the terrorist screening database's targeted individual program, in parentheses, handling codes 3 and 4. Us TIs are placed in the TSDB for illegitimate reasons with no warning, no due process, meeting no terrorist criteria, and no redress. For decades, we've been secretly spied on, followed, hacked, as well as tortured and experimented on. Please do not let us remain on this list, invisible everyday moms and dads. So if there's something that needs to be changed on that, or if you have any other suggestions about what we can do, the iron is hot. We want to strike while it's hot. So let's talk about what we can do at this critical moment in time. All right? Thank you guys for your indulgence. And let's get busy with getting to work. We're doing brainstorming today, so we're brainstorming. All right? If we have time, we're going to read the plaintiff. If not, we're going to end with this. So let's open up and let's talk. Okay, guys, if we can do, you know what? Thank you so much. I tell you, that's what happens when you work with somebody long enough. *6 and get in queue. It's my mistake. *6 and get in queue. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Who is this? Hi.
Yeah, what you read sounded really good. What you had
read. I can hear you a little bit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me see. I said what you had read was really good. What you said what you had read. You sent that in, right?
I'm sorry?
Did you send that in, what you just read to us?
Okay. Who is this?
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi.
Okay. So I read. I'm good, thank you. So I read a few things. So I read the letter with their questions, and the one that I read at the end was a suggestion, a sample post that we can use on social media to post to let them know that in addition to the watch list that they're examining, that we are here. Hi, we're here. So you're talking about that part?
Yes. I'm saying that.
Okay.
That sounds really, really good.
Okay, thank you. And do you think that just posting it on social media, what we were going to do is post their Twitter handles, if they have anyone who tweets, if you can post it on in their Twitter handles. I don't even know how to talk that language because I don't tweet, but we want to get it on there. We know that they look at, or they have people looking at their Twitter and they respond. Sometimes they'll tweet back. So we want to tweet it to them, and we want to put it in. We want to send it by email. If we don't have the exact email address, we have the .gov where it has comment. If you can copy and paste the letter or copy and paste the post, then that would be good. If there's something that needs to be done, or if you think there's anything else we can do, we want to do everything because the iron is hot. Finally, we're before primetime networks, and finally they're dealing with the watch list, at least to the degree which they're dealing with it. So we want to make sure that we don't miss this opportunity.
Yes. What I did.
So Lisa, thank you for. Go ahead.
I'm not. I wasn't into any social media, but what I just did, I just signed up for Twitter X, and I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I did those senators and representative members that was on the list, and what like you're saying.
Beautiful.
You can't put so many characters. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah. So what I did was I put 2024 innocent Americans are being harmed every day. Please vote no. The watch, and I just took some parts from the letter, and I just took the part that said the watch list, terrorist screening. I just know the screening is not spelled right, but screening database, secret blacklist compromising 97% of the TSDB names is illegally maintained under the TSDB using categories 3, 4, and 5, investigate. And then I put targetedjustice.com. And I sent that to the 13 people. That I could, 13 or 12 people. I think one of the names on there, Carson, I wasn't sure if that was the right person on that name.
Which name?
It was Carson. The name was Senator Carson.
Okay. Did you want me to look at the list of names? I can look at that.
Yeah, on the 13 to see what 13 if Carson is up there. Like all the other ones I'm familiar with, but Carson I was not familiar with, and I found two or three different people's names with the Carson in there.
Okay, so Carson. I so far don't see a Carson. Wait, hold on 1 second. Okay, I don't see a Carson. So we have Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Katie Porter. Oh, okay, Andre Carson.
Okay.
Andre Carson, member of Congress.
Okay, because I think it was another Carson up there too.
Hold on, let me see.
When I went, no, not on the list, but when I went to when I put in to look for the Carson, for their email, that's when more than one came up.
Oh, okay. So yes, for this purpose, it's Andre Carson.
Okay.
Member of Congress.
Yes, but I don't tweet, so I just went into theirs and did a reply on things that they tweeted, and I did a reply on that. I'm not a tweeter, so I don't know if this is really going to go anywhere from what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like people who have a following and stuff like that.
No, but you're putting it on their page, so usually they look at who talks back and forth to them. So that's a great job. Thank you. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Tweet, and email and fax. Whatever we can do. We just need them to know. We need enough people to send the same message that they say, what are these people talking about? And to me, if I were in charge, I wouldn't want this to go by with me knowing that some people were being oppressed and being treated illegally. So we want to jump up and down. Now's the time to do it. So thank you for your activism, Lisa.
You're welcome, and thank you, GoGi, for all that you do for us in the targeted community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you. Okay, so she's tweeting. She never tweeted before, but she's tweeting now and sending out letters and information, revising. She customized our samples so that she can get the word out there. Thank you so much. That's what we're talking about. All right, next caller.
Hi, GoGi. This is Kim. How are you?
Hi, Kim. How you doing?
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, too, and thank you for all you do. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm wondering if something should be put on there about them putting us on another list, too, the Mars list, the International Terrorist List, which is, why do we even get put on the first one? Why are we on the second one right away, too?
Right.
I just think that's wrong, too, that I don't think they realize that they're making it bigger yet.
Right. I heard or read something about this Mars thing. I think it's I think that when we first of all, our attorney, I'm sure will handle it for the plaintiffs to make sure that they're not put on any other subsequent lists. I believe I read something like that in the lawsuit and in the motion or the claim that she filed. And I think that when we get our day in court, we'll make sure. To me, we should never have to do certain things ever again. And I was glad that in the interview with Binney that he mentioned billions of dollars on this program, because people wonder where they're going to get the money from. Oh, how about the billions of dollars that you spent to do all the illegal stuff? Now you won't have to do it anymore, so you can spend that money compensating the victims. Okay, so you just take that money, just change the budget title to, instead of monitoring them, compensating them. So, there's a way to do it. The government is not broke. They're spending all this money watching and surveilling us illegally. They can certainly spend it to compensate the targeted individual population for what they've done. So, I'm sorry, Kim. You were so yes, for the Mars thing, we can absolutely make sure it is mentioned in our day in court, because that's one of the things that the Sadiq Long, the problem that he had was that he got off the no-fly list, and then they put him on in the TSDB with us, so he was still being targeted. And I'm not sure I think his case is still going on, but he won the case with the no-fly list, right? But but they did put him on another list. So that is an important question that you're asking, and yes, we have to make sure that we deal with it. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Thank you for all you do, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year, Kim. Thank you so much. You too.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Next caller, please.
Hi, GoGi. It's Daylene in Chicago. How are you?
Hi, Daylene. How are you?
Great. Thank you for a wonderful program tonight again.
Thank you.
I just wondered, Brian Birch is one of the directors at Catholic Vote, and he works closely with Jay Sekulow. And I know Anna Toledo was trying to get a hold of Jay Sekulow, but the perps kept preventing her. I wonder if we could also write to Brian Birch at Catholic Vote and let him know what's going on, because he's aware of them surveying Catholics. I'm Catholic, but he has no idea the way they're surveying me and all the other things, and the rest of anyone else who's Catholic and mentioned Christian too. They need to know, and just plain honest people who speak up or who are trying to live their lives non-religious.
Absolutely.
Even. But I think if we made them aware, it would help spread the information too. And I know we're busy with the senators, but you did say strike while the iron's hot, and he would get a hold of Jay Sekulow with this, because Jay Sekulow was representing him, the Catholic Vote.
Okay, you know what, I think that first of all you raise a really good point that let's not only focus on the senators and the Congress, like on Congress, the House of Representatives and the senators, which means Congress, but let's focus on other people to get the word out there as well. So yes, we can. Do you have, if maybe you can help with getting Brian Birch, you said, or Birch, get his information? We can get his email.
I will send it to you.
Good.
In the meantime, if people just Google Catholic Vote, I think .org, that might help them a little bit, but I'll get the information to you.
Okay, the last word is vote, B-O-A-T?
Vote, like a voter election.
Vote, Catholic Vote. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for joining the call. All right. Next caller, please. And I had said the word Birch. Tonight is Lauren Birch's birthday. Wow, Lauren. All right. She may join us a little later to help us read the plaintiff, but a happy birthday just in case. All right. Go ahead.
Hey, GoGi's, it's Tori again.
Hi, Tori.
Yeah, thank you for all you're doing. So the fax effort is an awesome idea for a lot of reasons, because many targeted individuals may have problems sending the email. So that whoever that effort is awesome. I posted it on Twitter. I'm a posting warrior in between studying. So I post on Twitter, Facebook. I post targeted justice. I post your information all the time, TI events all the time. To that lady who was speaking earlier, So platforms like Twitter, because it offers premium features, they will limit the amount of text you can put in a post. But one way you can get around that is that you can take the letter that I think TI Events has it, that fax letter. So you can create that letter as an image, and then you can tag the senators using the @ and then username, and then that'll get around that worrying about the of text. Or you can do the same thing by posting the letter to Google Drive, and then you can tag the senators that way. So that way you can get around that limit. Like I said, I'm a posting warrior, and I figure out different ways to do things. So I'm just glad to help out with this. And I think the Fax Everett is awesome because it's like activism on steroids, because by faxing you don't have to worry about email, and everyone can do it. You can do it from different numbers. That it just makes so much sense to distribute it in that way. So again, thank you. And if anyone ever needs any tech help, let me know. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Thank you. Tori, okay, so you said take an image of the picture or the post and tag all the senators. So with
you've edited the letter, including names if you want to. I don't know exactly the legal format to address a bunch of senators by saying honorable senators or however that goes. But whatever you do, if you
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Honorable Congress members.
Right. So if you use the snipping tool, then what you're doing is creating it as an image, and then you would right-click and copy the image and paste it directly into the Twitter editor. You don't even have to save it as a file, just so you know.
Okay. All right. So good. So I just wanted you to break it down because I don't tweet, but I just hope that people that do will take the time to create an image of the letter, use the tags, the 13 tags of the 13 people that we have that we're targeting. I don't want to say that we're focusing on, and post it so that you're not limited. Okay. Yep. Thank you for that, Tori. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. God bless you.
All right. God bless.
All right.
Next caller, please. Hi.
This is G in Virginia.
Hi, G. How are you, G?
I'm okay. Listen, I tried to get that letter out to the senators from the list that I got from the newsletter. Now, I had a problem with it because, first of all, I used the sample letter. But all 13 of them, when I went to put their names in, 7 of them would not. It says incorrect email. Incorrect email. So I only got to put it through to the rest of them, the other 6 of them. So, and then another thing about me too, I am thinking we keep getting, directions for Senate. We need to start sending out for the Congress too.
Right.
Because
let me go ahead.
And then what we said about the Twitter, it's a lot of people that ain't got time for that. Twitter, they want to be able to go in. Those of us that have a computer and be able to put that stuff in there and get it out right away. We want to be, copy this and paste this and then, but I guess that's the way you have to do it. But we need to try to keep it simple. You know, and I mean, yeah, suggest Twitter and anything, any modern or up to date way of getting stuff out is good. But we really need to concentrate on keeping it simple. And by that, I mean, like, let's make sure when we post an address for these senators in Congress, make sure that it is the correct and right one that we're putting out there.
Okay. Do you email, G, can you email me the ones you had a problem with?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that tonight. If I don't do it tonight, then you'll definitely get it by tomorrow. And I do have your email address.
Thank you so much. So that I'll look and see. I know that we're working on another spreadsheet. I don't know exactly where I guess you got that from the newsletter, but there's another spreadsheet that will be posted at tievents.org, and it's going to have the 13 that are on this letter. So it's G.I. Jane is working on it, on modifying the list that we worked with before, which, by the way, did include Congress. Congress is the senators and the House of Representatives, so it's 535 of them, and they work diligently. Tranquility, in particular, worked diligently to get the information of all of Congress. And so from that spreadsheet, G.I. Jane is pulling the 13 that signed this letter, and it's going to have their Twitter handles, which Jolene got all the Twitter handles for the Republicans and the Democrats. So it's going to have their Twitter handles and the email addresses and fax if we have them. And what we'll do is send off a sample. We'll send the first letter out and see if we get any kickbacks. And if we don't, then we know that everything's okay. And if we do, we'll look further.
Because actually, the letter that came with the names, the senators' names, I thought that was a real good sample letter. So I didn't see to change anything about it other than at the bottom where it says where you sign it or you put your own name. I think they had John Smith, somebody's name in there, but I took it out.
Yeah, John Smith.
Yeah, put my name in there. So I thought that was a perfect letter, perfectly worded, and I chose to use that one.
Thank you. Okay, good. Do you do any other social media?
Nope, that's the only one I do because that's the only one I feel. I just don't have the patience to do all that tweeting and stuff like that. You know, I don't want to keep it simple, so I just did a bulk. I did all of them at one time. You know, so
that's it.
But it rejected me on 7 of them, which meant I had to go back in and put them in one more time and eliminate and delete the 7 that didn't go through.
Oh, I see. Yes. So let me know which ones from the newsletter, and we'll look at those. But we're also getting those 13. We're pulling them from the Excel sheet that we've been using in house, the J.A.M. I'm sorry, and we'll publish that. All
right, but I really appreciate it, and I'll send you those names that didn't go.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
You Happy New Year to do, Goji.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, welcome to the J.A.M.
Hi, this is Tanisha Cole calling from Petersburg, Virginia.
Hi,
I'm fairly I'm fairly new to targeted justice. This is like my third conference call that I've been on since I've joined targeted justice. The question that I had is, this letter that you're talking about, this template, you said it's the tievents.org toolkit.
Yes. Okay. So there's a letter that went out, and it's for the newsletter. So that is to subscribers. So anyone who subscribes, they would get the newsletter. You probably, if you're not a subscriber, you wouldn't get that. But we took the sample letter, and we're going to put it up there tomorrow. I think there's one up there already, but this is a second one. So we're going to put that up there in the toolkit. You'll have the sample letter, and then you have a sample post. So I created a social media post that can be put on TikTok or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of the social media platforms, so we can get that out there. But we mainly want to get it to the Congress. So the 13 that signed this letter, they need to know. We don't want to remain the elephant in the room. As we are, as things are being shifted around, the FBI and them, whoever, they're going to become the elephant in the room. So we need to make sure that they know who we are, that we exist, while they're dealing with who can fly and who can't fly and all this with the watch list. We need to make sure that they deal with us as well. So the letter is at tievents.org, and it is it's a sample letter, and then there's a sample social media post that will be there in the toolkit or the post jam notes.
Got you. Okay, so I have to subscribe to this in order for that to be sent, though. I'm gathering what.
Okay, for Targeted Justice to get the newsletter, yeah, you have to subscribe. I mean, it might be, I'm not sure, $2 a month, or they take a minimal donation per month, and then they'll send you the newsletter. You'll be on the list for the newsletter.
Okay, got you. And the other question that I had, you said, because I haven't been on social media in over a year. I used to be on Facebook. That was my main way of keeping in touch with family and friends because of the isolation of being a targeted individual. But the perp, who I know is responsible for that. Some kind of way I can't get back on Facebook now. So
oh no, honey, that's the government. That's just like we were listening to Binney, how they watch us. They they mess with our accounts and and everything else. It's awful. The government criminals who set that up. So that's probably why you're having problems. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, and that's one of the reasons why I inquired about it, because my only alternative would be to get the letter, to mail it to the senators and the congressmen. That would be my last alternative, my only alternative actually, because of how they tampered with my social media and I can't even get on. So.
Can you email and fax? But, I mean, at least if we have somebody doing snail mail, I think that's a great thing as well. For them to get it in their hand, that's good. They'll open it and they'll look at it and so forth.
Okay. I guess once I get the subscription, I can do that and look into doing that.
No, I wouldn't wait for that. You need their addresses, is what you're saying. The 13 of them, you need their addresses.
Yes.
Yeah, because the thing is, the report is due January 9th, so that's 1 week from today. So next Tuesday, that report is going to come back from all of those agencies that they requested. They have to sit and answer all these questions. So they're going to submit their report, but we want to make sure, and then they're going to do their investigation. So I guess we do have a little time, because once they receive it, then they're going to talk about it, and and they're going to come back, I guess, to the public and say, this is what we found, and they're going to have some kind of action plan, corrective action plan or something. And we just want to make sure we're in that corrective action plan, meaning free us. Even before they devour it, I mean, to me, they should just be outraged when they read that, that when they find out from the FBI that it is true that 97% of the TSDB are targeted individuals who have nothing to do with terroristic crimes and so forth. And they should definitely say we want them off the list. What are we here for? So, I see something positive coming out of this, and it can't happen fast enough. And we have to do our part. I believe that I just want to be instrumental in making sure that we have whatever we need to do whatever we need while we have a chance. So I'm just saying that to say, as soon as you can, get those letters out. Let's get those letters out. And thank you. Thank you for doing it.
Okay. Thank you. And what is your email address, or do you feel comfortable providing that?
I do.
I'm falling
I do.
behind. Okay.
The Justice Action Meeting.
Okay.
Is the Justice Action Meeting at proton.me.
The Justice Action Meeting
at proton.
At proton.
.me.
Okay, that's the Justice Action Meeting at proton.m as in Mike and E as in Echo. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, and welcome to the J.A.M.
Thank you. I'm falling behind, so I'm going to do the best that I can to make my contribution.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything.
Thank you. Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year, Tanisha. Thank you.
For all you do.
Thank you. Okay, next caller, please. Wow. We've cleared the line. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, everybody. So, not many questions about the Binney information, but I think it was very informative. I hope you did enjoy hearing about it, and we were also able to see where we are in terms of the work that we're doing. I want to make a few announcements, and then we'll open up just to say good night. Let me see if I have time for Lauren's leave. One second. Let me just do one check here. Okay. So I want to make a few announcements. One, in terms of there's a few events coming up. We have so many events for Christmas, and it was so really nice. I mean, the J.A.M. Voices, we sang it on a few different shows, and we ended up Saturday night, I think it was Saturday or Sunday night, on Derek's call when he opened up for just an open mic kind of thing, and we walked in there and kind of had a good old Christmas jam time. That was really nice. With Jax was there, and I can't remember the commentator's name. Tall man, I'm going to mess up his name, but there was a gentleman there that was hosting for Derek. I didn't hear Derek. So we had a jam good time, and we went on the Australian call. We did so many calls, I forgot the words from one of my songs. Embarrassing, right? Yeah. And Devin's call, and, of course, we were here on the Jam, and we had so much fun with you guys. So we posted that on YouTube. And as of tonight, I think, this week at least, we'll be on Spotify. And so we're just trying to expand. That's part of one of my resolutions, is to expand and get the word out there and just keep moving and growing and grooving, right? So January 17th, Millicent is having a function, a Candlelight Memorial. And so, look to TI Events for the details about that. But I know it's on January 17th. And Minister Jerome has a call every day, 1 and 6, and a prayer call every day, 1 and 6, and on Sunday at 10. He also has a website, Revelations with an S, revealed.com. And Samia is on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 9 p.m. So those are the other spiritual calls. I want to acknowledge them tonight because this is my first fruits night. And we have several other moderators with great calls. So make sure, and for Targeted Justice, V2K is on Monday with Melody. And for support, we have Devin on Thursday nights. So there's so many different moderators. I call it different flavors of ice cream. So anything that fits your fancy. look to TIEvents.org, and they keep us abreast of all the different activities in the TI community. So we're lucky to have that. We're excited about the lawsuit. I actually believe that this month of January is going to be monumental. There's so many things going on. There's so many irons in the fire. So many things that have we've thrown up to the wall, and they're sticking. Not only us, other people and other entities, other things are sticking to the wall. So we believe as we bite this elephant, we eat the elephant one bite at a time, that the elephant is hurt. The elephant is coming down, and we are prevailing, and we're so grateful. So also continue to sign up for the rally, because we're going to we expect to take Louisiana by storm peacefully, though. It's going to be a quiet storm. Let's do a quiet storm. And but we want to show up in that town and let them know that we're on the list, and yet we are everyday people. Also, the registry is I believe it's down. I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to check with Attorney Anna Toledo and find out the status of that. But it has been open for long enough, and so we're hoping that everybody who needed to register for the lawsuit is a person of interest has already done so. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, and I don't know if there's any other news that I'm forgetting, but I want to mention with PETA, I received a pat response from them, which is unusual. They usually call, and they usually show a lot of interest. So we have Mary, who is continuing to email them, and if you would like to help to be a part of the PETA initiative, please do send me an email at the Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. Our clergy initiative, we had the first one on December 21st, and you can view it on YouTube, our YouTube channel, or no, it's coming up. I said we have one posted with Targeted Justice, but we also have live footage, so we're going to revise and post that again. And the next clergy function will be on February 29th. Okay, and we have, in terms of initiatives, the Boots on the Ground. Major Pat is working with the team, and they are making sure that all of the headquarters have been duly served. And once done, Boots on the Ground, I think we have 40 people. And if you would like to distribute letters to the different businesses, please do email me at the Justice Action Meeting at proton.me so we can get the word out and have impact in the streets, okay? And I think I have everything. But the main thing right now, as they say, let the main thing be the main thing. This is the main thing. Please post on social media, tweet to the senators, reach the senators, the Congress people, the ones on this list, the 13 people. That's who we really want to get this information, that we are here, because as Bill Binney says, they will keep information from the Congress. They will hide it from them. He said that even when they do lawsuits, they substitute the evidence, and Congress doesn't know that they have gotten the information illegally. So they don't have the complete truth and the complete picture. We are the complete picture, and we want to show them ourselves. So we're still collecting videos, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. Send a video of yourself and what you're going through. But I've talked enough tonight. Thank you so much, and so glad that you all could be here. And Lauren was prepared to read the next plaintiff. So I'm gonna ask her to do that next week. We continue to read the plaintiffs because as we prevail, when you get your day in court, if you find yourself so similar to one of the plaintiffs, one of the 18 plaintiffs, you can say to your lawyer, I am just like Jane Doe, number 14. That's me. And start collecting your evidence or giving the lawyer your evidence so that you can put your claim in. Okay, and that's what it's all about. Preserving ourselves, making it through this time as safely as we can, and keeping ourselves as well as we can, and just making it through one step at a time until we are vindicated. All right? So if anybody, happy birthday, Lauren. We're going to open up, and if anybody has anything to say, then feel free.
Thank you for all of the birthday wishes, you all.
God bless you, Lauren.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. It's been a blessing to see 58. 58
wow.
and
getting up there, girl.
I know it. I know it. I'm pushing forward, onward and upward, honey.
Amen. Gracefully, so that's beautiful. All right,
yes.
aging beautifully. Wonderful.
Thank you.
In the midst of it all. Woo, buddy.
It meant the gospel.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody.
The folks who gave me birthday wishes, thank you, and God bless you. Happy New Year to all.
Thank you, and thank you for being prepared to read the plaintiff. We'll read it next week.
Okay. All
right. Let's open up, guys, and we're going to close out. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight.
Hello, GoGi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
I want to thank you so much for playing that song, Jerusalem. I love that song. I learned that about a year ago when I was first isolated here in my apartment by myself, and I learned how to sing all the words, and I learned how to do that little dance too. So when I turned into it, I was so happy to hear that. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I have to hear you sing it. I would love to hear you sing it. I want you to teach me. I love that song. I play it all the time. It's so pretty. Thank you.
I haven't played it in a while, but all last summer. Oh my goodness, I danced and sang it. I love it. That's by that South African girl, I think it's Nama Sibi or something like this. Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it.
And thank you, God. I'll never forget you. You are so good to me. You're such a kind heart. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Such a kind heart and so thoughtful and compassionate. I thank God for you. Made my life so easy. You really have. I really mean that. Thank you. God bless.
Much. God bless you. Thank you. Love you. Thank you.